So this is our group discussion 3. We will be talking about our second section of our news publication. As a reminder, our news publication's name is 90s Weekly. So we shall start with introducing ourselves once more.
Hi, I'm Wilson Chong Li Qing, matrix number 185705.
Hi, my name is Nur Januar binti Muhammad. My matric number is 182750.
Hi, my name is Tan Shen Hian, matric number 185900.
Hi, I'm Chuan Kang Wei, matrix number 185138.
My name is Tan Jie Ho, matrix number 183242.
My name is Tan Kia Yin, and my matric number is 185159.
My name is Crystal Kwan Sin Yi. My matric number is 190263.
My name is Ting Li Fong. My matric number is 187454.
So we shall start by introducing what our articles that we have found that we think is suitable for our publication. So, is there anyone who wants to start first?
Anyone? Okay, then I will start first. Okay, so this section we are going to talk about technology. So I found a very interesting article. Actually, it's a title of "Need to Solve a Problem, Turn to Nature." Actually, it's written by I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's actually a foreigner. It's a Lizer Ulrich Verdeber or something like that. Okay, the name. Okay, so this article is actually talking about biomimicry. I wonder any one of you ever heard about it. So biomimicry is actually is a technology that we, a human or inventors or designer, actually design and build stuff by mimicking, by getting inspiration or mimic any living things from nature. So not only living things, there can be a lot of things, just that they get their source of inspiration from nature. Okay, so that here they show a video. Okay, so with actually quite a good example. So have anyone of you heard about the Japanese Shinkansen?
No.
Okay, Japanese bullet trains. Actually, Japanese bullet train is a Shinkansen. So they have the record of the fastest train in the world. So how do they design the trains? Actually, by using this kind of technology. It's called biomimicry. So they actually design their get their inspiration from 3 different animals. So they design their head of the train from a bird. Okay, and they actually get the power supply when you know the train, right? So they get the design of the wing from an owl, and the body of the alignment of the train, they got it from a penguin. So by having this, by using this kind of biomimicry, designer actually get a lot more easier, because why it is good for mimicking the living thing is because we as a living thing actually evolve from time to time, as we all know, right, to adapt to adapt to the nature. So I think it's an interesting article about technology that, yeah, quite a fact that new to us. Yes, thank you. Next, who wants to go next?
You want to choose someone to go next?
I think why not we go for volunteerism this week?
Okay.
Yeah, no more forcing.
Alright.
Yeah.
So anyone wants to volunteer?
Anyone wants to volunteer? Just go ahead.
Yeah. 3 seconds. Alright.
Alright.
Okay, so I'll go first. What I have decided to publicize for today's section, technology, is about 5G. So this is, I think it's the newest one. It's one up from 4G. So it's the article that I found is from CNN, or it's published on the date of 25th of February 2019, by David Goldman. So it talks about what 5G is and how it's gonna improve our lives as human beings. But there also comes the danger or the wariness that some people have on 5G, because so I'm gonna start with explaining what 5G is. 5G is let's just say a very fast network. You could send a HD movie over 1 second to your friend. So that's how fast it is. So this one is just 5G has a larger bandwidth than 4G, so it is able to transmit and receive very large amount of data on a very short time. But the problem comes is when because that they are have a very large bandwidth, they require a lot of small, what is it they call it? It's like small mini mobile transmitter over, let's say, every lamppost in the street for us to stay connected. So this 5G is merely something to complement 4G rather than replacing it. So what other things that 5G can do is, like, it's not only connecting to your smartphones or your tablets, it can receive and it can control sensors, thermostats, cars and robots. It can do a lot, which is why European countries are very wary of why China wants to implement 5G, because it might be an invasion of privacy for a lot of citizens. So I think that this is relevant in what we are talking today, because I think that 90s should, 90s Weekly should be publishing about things that millennials should know. This, I think, is a very important news, and we should get up to date with current technology, as we do depend on it very much now. So do you guys have any comment on my article?
No.
Okay, so who wants to volunteer for the next article?
I will just go for the next. So what I found, I tried to find the technology related to the medical, because I don't really know the other technology as well. So I tried to find the latest medical technology is about the telemedicine. Is because in old times, in now imagine a person finding a strange lesion, and then somehow they need to make an appointment with doctor, then need to take leave to visit a doctor, and then blah 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 blah. So with this telemedicine, is actually you can, like, if you notice that you have a lesion, actually you can, like, just make a video call with the doctor. So and then you, like, discuss with doctor, like, what is your symptoms and the signs, anything, and then if necessary, then you can make a further interpersonal appointment with the doctor. So the benefits of this telemedicine is actually the patient will have greater flexibility on the work time, and then they don't need to take leave, and then another benefit is the doctors will be able to treat more patients. And then the last one is, like, the medical specialists can receive information that they might not readily have access. If the patient have new lesion, and then the doctor don't know about it, so the doctor can, like, do more work and do more research on it, and then give feedback to the patients. So we somehow can speed up the process, like visiting the doctors and those things, and then can save the petrol time, those things. So this is quite a very beneficial medical technology nowadays. Yeah.
Alright, who wants to go next?
So I think I'll proceed. So the article I found is quite a new technology. The title is that the self-charging sock. I found it on the New Scientist. So the title states that the self-charging socks could track your exercise and power wearable tech. So it's written by Donna Lu. So in this article, the main focus is on the socks that can be self-charging. Then in this article states the sock is coated with material that conduct electricity. Whenever it in touch with the skin or in touch with the floor, it will cause the material that can self-charging. So this technology is somehow same with the sport bands that you wear on your hands. But however, this is a self-charging one that you do not need to charge your sport band on the frequently. So whenever you want to do a jogging or anything, you just wear it, and yeah, it can be self-recharging.
Quite new technology.
And probably more relatable to what we already have. Like it's not too far-fetched. Okay, who wants to go next? And who wants to go next? Besides the pipe.
Wow. Quite creepy. Okay, I think Wilson will go next.
Okay, so I will go next for my titles, which comes from the stars. It's on 19 September of 2018. Basically, talking about technologies, I would like to share to the 90s weeklies about the blockchain technologies. It's quite, it's not new for the 90s, but it's quite interesting that this technology haven't developed quite matured yet, and a lot of people, even the elders or the youngest, are not totally understand about this technology. So what is a blockchain technology? I would like to make some explanations. So the title itself is the basics of blockchains, explained by the stars. So what blockchains, when you think of it, you can basically think of bitcoins. That is what we know as blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. But blockchain is actually not a cryptocurrency as it is. It is actually a system that's trying to decentralize every system into open users, so that no one has actually centralized a system that it can control everything. So which actually prevents a lot of problems, such as basically blockchain is actually invented and also being introduced is because we want to prevent a lot of fraud, counterfeiting, inflation, and monopolies in the current systems of the financials and also political problems. So Bitcoin itself starts from the people's names in 2008 of Satoshi Nakamoto, published by the Bitcoin white paper, which it uses a virtual cash system, as you know, as Bitcoin. And from that systems, the blockchain is a decentralized, open share, and distributed digital ledger that is secure using cryptography. So basically, these things explain that the system itself is not safe in a servers or centralized servers, and this is because they don't want someone to control it. So everything is openly shared to the users. As if there is a blockchain system over here, all those data will be saved by the 8 of us. There is no one centralized servers over here. And this thing actually have a lot of benefits, but so to let the millennials and the 90s to let know furthermore, it is used in a 6 big industry. So the first one is for tracking food. The tracking food technology is used because it is quite reliable. From supply chains to the human, to all the users, it basically sets all the data in a decentralized server, so everyone can track their items. So there is no one there is no one who skips the data from the suppliers to the factories to shipyards. So everything you can check online. The postal service, as you know nowadays, when you have Lazada's items, everyone can track their items, where are they? Because the system itself has actually decentralized, so everyone has the data itself when you key in the reference number. Countering counterfeits. So counterfeits itself is quite a big thing we want to combat in most of the political and financial inclusions. As the banks, we do want centralized banks. Electoral frauds. So from politicals' view, there's a lot of frauds, worldwide. So these systems actually helps in decentralizing. Identity frauds and blockchain conference. So blockchain conference is one of a big conference that most of the worldwide persons will join in and they will discuss about it. So I think that's
Thank you, sir, for your sharing.
Very, very interesting
Yes.
insight. I have never knew that. So shall anyone go next with a more interesting topic? I'm sure.
Why not short you go
Alright,
next?
right.
Okay.
So I'll talk about AI. You guys know what AI? AI means artificial intelligence. So this topic about how AI technologies are helping in the fight against cancers. So there are studies, not studies, but a case in 2005. There's a study in Turkey where they successfully diagnosed mesothelioma disease with machine learning, which is a AI, but which is not programmed to do so, meaning that they are learning by themselves to diagnose the cancer. So these cancer diseases are usually hard to diagnose at the early stage. So with AI, which is able to successfully diagnose the cancer with a 96.3% accuracy, which is very helpful in the medical industry, where it's able to diagnose cancer in the early stage and prevent it from spreading into the whole body. So I think it's a very quite interesting technology that we have now, that we are able to making human live longer.
Alright, that's also health related. I think we're all very interested in health. So we have 2 more minutes left. Anyone wants to volunteer?
I think I'm going to talk next because my one is about Google Human Studying AI, and it's from CNBC Consumer News and Business Channel. So basically, they released a phone called Google Pixels, and they have attached AI inside. They call it Google Duplex. So what different from the Google Assistant in your phone is they make it more advanced. So if you want the phone to make a reservation in restaurant, maybe you ask them like reserve at 6:45. They will ask you back if 6:45 is not available, can they make it at another time? And they will help you to call the restaurant without the person in the restaurant knowing that it's Google. So it's basically mimicking human to call the phone. Yeah. So
I think that's very interesting news as well. In the section of tech. What about you?
okay. For the last one, so my article is from the CNET and WC. So the title is there, clean your phone while charging it with the LAX audio. So basically this the LAX audio is shaped. The shape is like a flower vase, which is the pretty little audio, which is they can perform 2 useful tasks, which is the first task is it can charge your phone, and also it can sanitize the display of your phone with the purple UV light. So this technology will work when you sleep, which is it will clean your phone, and when in the morning it will fully charge your phone, which is it use the USB Type-C power cable and the QI certified. So I think that's all from me.
Alright.
The simple one.
So let's pick 2 articles that we want to write about. Anyone wants to pick?
I will go for Jerem's one and Sean's one.
Okay. I agree.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, we can talk a bit like justification. Why? Justify?
Because the topic is very interesting, like about self-charging socks. Then because the socks thing, I feel very interesting. And then another in the AI medical field because
Yeah,
this
I
one.
agree as well. Introduce it. Anyone else wants to add? Because we are over time.
For me, I personally I would really go to both AI topic as we're actually going to the industrial revolution 4.0. It's actually more about AI. So I think this is what millennials should know, the 90s like kids should know. So more about AI. So I think we should go for both Ting and Sean's.
I do agree with Chuan's ideas because AI is the kinds of stuff to in the latest technology. But I do agree with Krista's 5G's Internet of Things because this is quite an interesting which is the latest stuff in the technology's world. So I would prefer Krista's and maybe Sean's. I agree.
Okay. Anyone else has an opinion?
I agree with Wilson because 5G is a technology that is like quite near to us from now on because we are going to use it in a few years. So why not we use this publication to like create awareness to the other person.
Okay, also if you the G1 or the 5G and also the AI.
Okay, which AI? Okay, what about you think?
I will go for Crystal's 5Gs because I think it's the latest things and people need to know about it.
Okay. So we're going with 5G and AI. We'll see you next week.